All right, guys, we're back. I know it's been a while. I appreciate those of you that have subscribed recently. I've been busy with this little beauty over here. She has arrived. She's 3 months. First time out in the garage with Dad, and she's been an absolute sweetheart. I wanted to do a quick video, and as long as she'll let me do this anyway, I went up to the racetrack yesterday afternoon in Anthony, Florida, the Shady Oaks 1/5 scale raceway again. First time out there with this truck at this stage in its build. It was an absolute beast. I was running up against $2,500 Losis, and again, I got a $800, $900 KingMotor X2 here with a few $100s worth of parts in it. Really new at running on a track, and so it took a beating, but in the end, I drove away. I drove it off the track. So yeah, it's been fun, and I wanted to do a quick video to show you guys where I'm at with this truck, and also I'm going to talk a little bit about the Ghost Racing G5 that I recently painted, and of course the infamous Rovin 305 FT Baja build with the SCZ motor in it, and some of the things that I've done to that and where it's at. So time has been limited. I'm going to talk fast, walk fast, and I guess give you guys an update on where I'm at with everything. I haven't fallen off the earth. So the truck was amazing. It had just enough power for that track. I mean, a little bit more, I would have been doing a little better. I noticed some of the other guys, I mean, these are heavy rigs. Some of the other guys were definitely pulling higher, much higher in the air in terms of jumps and things like that. It didn't have the oomph that a full mod motor has, of course, but it's a KingMotor Rev 30.5cc factory motor with a with a factory KingMotor pipe. It did have a silencer on it. I cut it off, which turned out to be a mistake. The track owner was not happy with that, but he did let me run. So I'm gonna have to figure something out. I did put my Rovin Baja tires on it, which was perfect. With four-wheel drive, they were digging in and biting the whole time. As you can see, they're just caked with the clay. The track was real loomy, so it worked out great. The 30-degree north panels, I definitely recommend them. If you're thinking about the 30-degree north panels and you're wondering if you should spend the money, you should. They absolutely rock. I destroyed the factory body the first 2 times I took it out there. It was basically unrecognizable. So I know I made a promise not to spend a lot of money on this rig, and so the panels was, they were kind of, that was my first, my first breaking of that promise. But I had to upgrade the brakes. I upgraded to a TLR. It's basically it's a TLR kit. It's a Losi 5B kit for the buggy. It's a spring action disc with an actual pad on there. This thing stops like a Porsche, in comparison to the way it stopped anyway. The wrap that I had done was from justrcwraps.com. You'll find them on eBay. Great wrap, fairly easy to put on. You definitely want to use a heat gun or a blow dryer to make sure everything sticks real well. It held up great. I honestly didn't expect much. I knew these areas were going to come in contact a lot, but as you can see, it held up pretty well. Some areas did rip, this here. The only tear in the panels themselves was here, but that came in contact with one of the walls of the jumps, the wooden walls, and it hit hard, man. I mean, it was full speed, flipping and tumbling, head over heels, and yeah, so I expect it. The cage, all the same parts that I broke the last time I was out, and it just sucks because it's just a pain in the butt to have to replace this stuff, but these busted again on each side. This busted, the rear bumper busted, so I'm going to have to buy that once again and replace it all. But you got to do what you got to do. I guess it's just part of racing. I was out there with, of course, these MX dirt bike style tires while everybody else was running Proline Concept or JC Concepts and Prolines, but I'll be honest, I did really well. They dug in and they bit real well. I got out there with a busted rear axle pin. Apparently the KingMotor pins don't come out even with a lot of heat, so I had to buy an extra axle that somebody had. One of the guys, Chris out there, who's been real helpful, he had an extra axle laying around, sold it to me. You can see I lost my mud flaps. They don't last long when you're racing. I've got the full force fender wells in there. They seem to have held up. Kinda. Look at that. Like, how the hell does that happen? That must be from the upper arm just smashing right up into that. The X-Max Studio Shock socks, look at them, destroyed. I don't even know how that happens. It looks like somebody was shooting at them, or piranha got them. This whole shock tower, destroyed, bent, to the point where the cage won't mount. I did get some GoPro footage, but these mounts, the camera just falls from the vibration, so it didn't work out too well. Oh my god, it was a blast. I'm gonna post some video once I sift through it and see what I have. Oh, by the way, when I upgraded the brake kit, I also ended up buying the RC Rock Armor servo bracket. I know a lot of guys run those and everybody swears by them. What a big difference, man. It just, you have to set your endpoints though. I found that I only needed my brakes set at like 60 and the throttle set at 70. Granted, that's a low C steering servo, so it's a bit overpowered as far as what you need for a brake and throttle, but it's working out perfect for me. Just make sure you set your endpoints from the factory, even if you don't, with your factory servos, because the way they were set up from KingMotor, they were at 100% and there was no need for it. The motor seems to be running great. Like I showed up with a bad clutch. The KingMotor clutch had, I don't know, it honestly didn't have too many runs on it, and it had decided the spring the spring broke, and so because there was no pad left on the on the actual clutch itself, so the spring snapped. And once again, I was saved by Chris G in the RC Superstore that he shows up with. He sold me a fairly used clutch. While I was out there, I did pick up a few goodies from him. He had an another iKilly, just like the one that's in the X2 for sale, brand new. Barely, it looks like it was mounted, but maybe, I don't know, maybe just mounted. Doesn't even look like it had much of a run on it. And I also picked up a Torex 4-shoe adjustable clutch. I'm gonna check this out. He was selling it, so I imagine it's probably not great. As a guy that's been in the business for 30 years, if he had found the answer to all clutches, he wouldn't be selling it to me for 50 bucks. But I'm gonna give it a try. I may try it in the clone. Who knows? I may throw it in this. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, he was nice enough to sell me both of those pieces for 100 bucks, which is a super deal. Again, great guy. He's been really helpful with me and getting started as far as racing is concerned and things like that. Making sure that I don't buy the wrong parts, because I've been known to do that from time to time. So yeah, Amelia's calling my name. She's getting a bit antsy. Oh, by the way, somebody asked about these bead locks. These are the Hostel bead locks, and they worked great. They were absolutely phenomenal out there. I'm going to pop the lid off the truck and do another video shortly so I can see what I'm dealing with under there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm also going to do another video on the freshly painted Ghost Racing G5 and the Baja. Talk to you soon.